Hello, everybody, and welcome to Confessions of a Market Maker, Market Recap Edition. I'm your co-host, Ray, aka Lamborghini Trades. I'm joined here by my co-host, the man front-running your entries, JJ. And we're here to recap the market and the news surrounding the week of November 4th through the 8th. How did trading go for you this week, Jay?
Good, Ray. It was good. It was a little slow. Had to wait sometimes a couple of hours for my trades.
Yeah.
And one day I didn't trade at all. And today actually I didn't even trade at all because I was just too tired. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. But overall okay. Yeah, no complaints.
Yeah, definitely slow price action for a lot of the week. Test of your patience, but getting in that screen time, like you always say, very
Oh yeah.
invaluable. Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's nothing that beats screen time. It's like watching Mike Singletary sit there and watch game film, and then
Right,
when the play happens, he just reacts, right?
right. For
So
sure, for sure. No, I mean, honestly, that's what's been helping me push through the slow times. And it was even great to hear Linda say that on our
mhm.
podcast that we just had. And so if you guys haven't listened to that, highly recommend go back, listen to that. That was great. And that's what she mentioned was you can't replace that for anything. No books, no guru, no teaching,
No,
nothing. And so that was just really great to hear that from her.
it
And
was.
because I think it's important to stay focused, to stay like positive, upbeat, like through those times. I mean, at least for me. But
Oh,
so
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And just because the market's slow, you don't have to get mad at it. It's just
Right, right.
you know,
We got people in the room like just going bonkers, monkey tilt. You know, it's
it's
all
just
right.
it's just a slow. You got to clean it out every once in a while, and that takes some time. Jeez,
For sure, for
it's
sure.
only gone up 100 points in what 9 trading days. I mean, take it easy, guys.
Yeah,
You
really.
know,
And
we're starting to get a little carried away here. Instant
yeah,
gratification.
no, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I know we were talking about that earlier, and yeah, I mean, there's several times this week. I mean, we made new highs in the overnight session,
Yeah.
and we're building value up here. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts on the market behavior? Yeah.
well, we've got, as Jim Dalton says, we've got that firecracker effect underneath us. Peter Resnicek talked about it in his video at the end of this week. We've got a lot of bad structure underneath us. So we're
Hmm.
kind of playing, we're playing house of cards right now, and they just keep gapping this thing and fading it and gapping it again. And the sellers just keep getting trapped and holding the thing up like a kickstand. But, eventually that firecracker, I don't know when, will take place and we'll go down and repair that bad structure kind of violently.
Hmm.
So people should be just ready for that. I
Hmm.
don't know when it's going to happen, but, that's what we learned from Mr. Dalton and from the people who have mentored us. And, so let's just, like my offensive line coach used to say, keep your head on a swivel,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's so funny that's like the classic offensive lineman
Oh,
coach
definitely.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Any any thoughts? Because I hear you repeat this day in and day out, and so for people that aren't in our room that are listeners to the podcast, what advice or uh, approach would you say to people who want to just like short this? Because like you mentioned, the bad structure.
Don't short blindly. Learn why this market exists and the players in it. And you know, they're dealing with trillions and trillions of dollars, and that money is being put to work. And the end of the year is coming, and everybody wants a nice big fat bonus. You know, um, there's an agenda behind all of this. Eddie Murphy says it very, very well. Um, Christmas is coming, and everybody wants the GI Joe with the kung fu grip,
Hmm.
and they have to. They money has to be made now. Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving is coming,
Yep.
and if your wife or girlfriend doesn't get that little red box from Cartier, you're in big trouble. So you better get some operations going. I'm just joking about that. But I'm just saying that the end of the year is that they love to mark up positions. They've had a great year, um, and the structure is not the greatest in this market right now. So
Hmm.
be careful. It's also low float paper hanging season.
Mm,
We have companies
everyone's
that have
favorite. Yes.
yeah, now is our time where we have, companies with 1 million shares in the float trading 30 million shares a day. Things that make you go, hmm. So just remember, that these people are in the money taking spirit, and don't let them take your money. Be careful. If you're out there trading those things, be careful and use stops, and be disciplined.
Hmm.
And that's all I can say for that. And if you have blown yourself up on some crazy Nasdaq short squeezes or whatever, come check us out, and maybe we'll be able to soothe your nerves through the power of market profile.
Yes. JJ, the degenerate whisperer.
Yes,
So you
exactly.
so you had an interesting experience today with a power hour outage. I know you wanted to speak on that.
Yeah, real quick, new traders and myself, which I forgot, I never did go and buy a UPS. So I'm sitting there today, and thank God I wasn't in a trade or placing a trade, but the price action was so slow it actually saved me. The power went out. I guess the moose hit the power pole or whatever, and it was out for a couple of minutes, just enough to take the computer down. The modem has to recycle, and I didn't have, and I realized, I don't have my broker's phone number and my account number taped to the desk, just in case this happens. And a phone, like my phone, wasn't even near my desk, so I was completely ill prepared. And Linda, I remember reading an article about her talking about redundancy and being prepared for those things. Because what if I was in a position that I'd have to scramble and find my account number and find the
Hmm.
phone number, and by that time my account could have lost 30% of its value or more. I mean, it's just, if I hadn't had a stop in place, right? So just always have redundancy, have that stuff, on hand just in case,
Hmm.
because my internet's usually pretty stable, and so is the power, but things happen,
For
right?
sure. For sure. Just being prepared for all scenarios.
Yeah.
So now in the news this week, Trump stated U.S. has not yet agreed to reduce tariffs. We saw markets respond briefly. JJ, does this even qualify as news?
Oh man, I don't even know how to even interpret the trade news anymore. There's fake news that might be real, that has things. I don't know how people who trade the news, they do it. I remember when I worked at that financial software company, they had people who would trade the news, and this was back in 2013, 2014, and they would. They'd had a news screener, and it would pop news up, and people would jump all over it. And now with all, the algos can fire off like 300 trades before you can even move your mouse. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Hmm.
how you do that, and that's why I trade structures, so I don't have to read the news, because I can't figure out what the heck is going on. And then somebody, they will put out, maybe we possibly have a meeting that may or may not be canceled. Perhaps, thank you for coming out. What kind of news is that? Like,
It's crazy. Yeah.
that's news, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking of having tuna fish for lunch. Let's put out like, it's just ridiculous. And the reactions to these news things, the market dips and everybody just jumps in there and buys. And I don't know. I'm just, it's a very kind of scary trading environment for someone who's been through 9/11 and the other crazy things.
Hmm.
You see a little, like, not irrational exuberance, but you see things getting a little out of hand, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, just focus on structure. Like you always say, focus on structure, block everything
Right.
else out. You're gonna be all right.
Yeah, and use stops, right?
You
Because
stops.
a couple of days ago we took out the stops on the top and the bottom.
Oh yeah.
It was like an
Hmm.
equal opportunity destructive moment, right?
And two days in a row. I believe it was Wednesday and Thursday.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an E
So it's
period.
just,
Yeah, in the same period. Hmm.
so just, you be careful out there and use stops. And if anybody tells you not to use a stop, especially if you're a new trader, please,
Yeah,
please don't
they're
fall
a
for
donkey. Yeah,
that. Yeah.
don't. That's crazy. Michael Bloomberg, co-founder and CEO of Bloomberg Global Financial Service, including its notable Bloomberg terminal, and former mayor of New York City, is running for president. So we got a financial guy running now, Jay.
An ex-trader,
Yeah.
Salman Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know anything about U.S. politics. Once again, that is a machine that is too complex for me to even fathom. But hey, it's cool to have a trader running the country. Let's see. I don't know if he's any good or not. I paid absolutely no attention when he was mayor of New York.
Uh-huh.
But it didn't seem like anybody really hated him that I know. I mean, that I read anyway.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to see a trader. Being president, my God, I don't know. I wouldn't want to do it. That's a pretty, it's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Those guys age like exponentially when they get into office. So yeah, I don't know. Good luck to him.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be
But
interesting.
he's an ex-trader, so he can handle stress.
Right. Oh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Very good point. So next, Alibaba plans to list in Hong Kong in the final weeks of November, aiming to raise up to 15 billion. The transaction would be the world's biggest cross-border secondary listing, coming at a time when there's been a thaw in relations between China and the U.S. What do you think,
Well,
Jay?
I think they're just trying to tap some of the liquidity over there,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's not a bad idea. Everybody remembers that. I mean, I remember the Alibaba IPO. That thing it traded over 1 million trades that day of the IPO. Very active.
Mm-hmm.
It was just insane, and I remember that because I watched the trade from the outset. But yeah, tapping liquidity. Eventually, these guys with all these trillions of dollars are going to realize that they're the only buyers, and they need to unload this stuff on someone. So tap new markets, dual listings, bring in retail, sell fractional parts of shares, zero cost commissions. Let's get that retail back in there because we've got to sell this to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that,
Yeah.
that's what I'd be thinking too, because we got to get some liquidity here because you got to sell size.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any earners this week that were notable to you?
Not really. I mean, everyone seemed to, it seems to be a good week earning wise. There's no anything really bad. Even Uber lost, less. It lost less billions. So, they only lost a billion this time instead of five.
Jesus.
Like they used to
Gee.
say on our street, "Nice work, jerk."
Yeah.
But good for them, and God bless the people who own that stock. I hope they make money on it. You know, but no, the crazy silly free money train continues. Valuations are up nice and high, and everybody's happy. And I don't see any fear anywhere. All the talking heads, are all. You can feel the fear is gone and the greed is now back in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always good for higher prices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah.
So looking forward to next week. Any scenarios you see playing out? Any thoughts for us to look out for?
Well, I gotta wait till Sunday night and see how it opens, and we've had so far a good month. And the weekly chart on this thing, let's face it, the S&P is trading like a penny stock. It just gets, they just rig it and take it higher, and don't stand in front of a train. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks up in a row here, and I do believe we're one time framing up on the weekly. So let the party continue. I'm kind of looking in a fuzzy 3120s target, but that's not written in stone. None of my targets ever are. I like to see how price behaves when we get to them, but
Mm-hmm.
it's funny because I was joking at the beginning of last week. I recalculated all my levels up to 3120, and I said, "Oh
Nice.
yeah, by the way, it's going. We'll be there by the end of this week." And gosh, we came kind of close.
We did.
Almost close to 3100. So I was like, "Geez," So yeah, just my thoughts are, definitely in a market like this in uncharted territory, and the old professionals and guys who are doing this, they'll laugh at me because they know what's going on and they have their trade plans and their risk and things like that. And they know what they're doing. So, but for newer traders, let the market open. Let it show you which way it's going to go. Don't try and guess that it's going to go up or down.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
let it establish itself, and it'll talk to you. And once you know what to listen to, it will really help you keep that. Oh, I got to take a trade. Oh, I'm not doing anything. Oh, you've got to get out of that mentality and remember that this is a business like anything else, and it's a skill and a craft. And when you're starting out, remember, there are no three easy setups to brain surgery.
Mm.
So if you wanted to be a brain surgeon, it really wouldn't happen in a 4-week window with a couple of YouTube videos and a stray Lamborghini. Um, you know, um, Brain surgery takes a little bit of time, and so does deciphering this market. Just because it is about money, the craft is about money, so it makes it very easy to market it as three easy setups. This is so easy. Make money as easy as 1, 2, 3 in the market. Look at me. I'm in a Lamborghini in a tree. Just remember, it's a craft, a skill. It is something that takes time to learn. Give it the respect it deserves, because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't give it the respect it deserves, it will take you and your wallet out to the woodshed and give you the beating of your life. So just, and take your time, enjoy the process. It's a marathon.
Absolutely. Well put. And especially in the beginning, I mean, I think really through all stages probably of trading is don't be results oriented. Like
Learn
you
the
said, it's
process.
about the
Yeah.
process. Yeah.
It's a skill that you're learning, right? I mean, it's like, say you walked into a machine shop, you just wouldn't grab a block of aluminum and start machining a piston for an engine. Then you'd expect it to fit and work.
Yeah.
You would have to know about tolerances and things like that, or anything like that. Do you think
Mm-hmm.
you can just go and build a bridge, without an engineering degree, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's like anything else. It's a profession. It's not a get rich quick scheme,
Exactly.
unfortunately, and that's unfortunately the way it's marketed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Learn how to trade in 3 easy steps and get a free sun visor. That's not, that's not a trading school, right? And
Yeah.
anybody who says that you need to go into debt to get a trading education, you really, those people, you know, uh,
Blasphemous.
that's just mean, man. That's
It's
just
it's
cruel.
criminal.
It's just cruel, That's just cruel.
It's
But anyway,
heinous.
yeah, I shall get off my soapbox.
Well put. That concludes this episode of Confessions of a Market Maker. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, please rate and review it for us. If you're interested in learning market profile, if you're interested in trading a liquid market, if you got a small account, come join JJ and I at microefutures.com. JJ, parting words?
No, everyone have a great weekend. Be safe, and please get into some trouble for me.
And so, for the proper villain, I am Paulie Walnuts. You guys stay safe, though.
Have a great night.